frankly, from my perspective, as I said, as having known Priti a long time, and I was speaking to colleagues, and by the way, colleagues across the House, not just in the Conservative Party, it is very clear that she is a valued member of the House, and I think she's going to bring a lot, not just as a leader of the party, leading the opposition and holding the government to account, but I think she's got lots of really good ideas.
But first, there's a new official entry into the Conservative leadership race, the former Home Secretary Priti Patel. She says she can bring the party back together. She's pledged to put unity before personal vendettas. And Saqib Bhatti is Shadow Minister and the Conservative MP for Meriden. He is backing Priti Patel and he joins us on the line now. Good morning.
Good morning.
Just tell people why you're backing the former Home Secretary.
Well, look, for me, Priti is someone I've known a long time, and I think she's got the resolve to bring the party together. I think we've just been through a really difficult election. We have to be humble about some of the solutions that we need to look at to fix the party, and that ranges from looking at making sure that we're a strong fighting machine, that we're unified, that we're engaged with the membership, who played a crucial role in trying to stem some of that tsunami that came our way. And I think Priti is someone who has been involved with the party for over 30 years. It's in her DNA, and I'm very optimistic that she can get the job done.
What do you think she's got that other candidates haven't got, the ones that have declared so far?
Well, look, first of all, I'm actually quite optimistic about the breadth of talent that we've had come forward for the leadership. But for me, Priti stands out head and shoulders just because she has been involved with the party. She understands it. And it only takes you a few minutes of talking to her to understand. She understands what drives the party, what motivates members. She was campaigning not just in her constituency in the election, but she was helping people from across the party because she put the party first and wanted to make sure that we do unite. And I think her motto of uniting to win is really, really important because, frankly, we've got a job to do. We are His Majesty's opposition. We've got to take the fight to Keir Starmer and the Labour Party, and we've got to be strong in that. And I think Priti can do that.
How do you think she can overcome some of the concerns maybe that people have about her? Because she was the former Home Secretary. There's a lot of criticism about your previous government's record on immigration, about the Rwanda scheme, but more broadly about immigration too. And there were also some concerns about her behaviour in the department. There were allegations made against her about bullying, about the way that she behaved with members of staff. What is she going to do to try and overcome some of those problems, do you think?
Well, look, on the immigration point, she was really respected actually as a Home Secretary, and I remember that because colleagues even now remind me of that. But she came up with an idea. We knew we needed a deterrent, and that's what that was about. And she came up with this idea, which, by the way, many other countries across the world now are looking to adopt and understand and take on. And I think the key thing here is actually because Keir Starmer scrapped the Rwanda scheme, we need someone who's going to be at the dispatch box challenging him and saying, what is your deterrent? How are you going to get migration under control?
It didn't work though. It didn't work though, did it? And it cost hundreds of millions of pounds. But Steve Reid saying today that £700 million was spent on the Rwanda scheme and that the government covered up the extent of spending on it. It wasn't very effective. Well, it wasn't effective at all.
Just on Steve Reid, I was listening to him this morning. I think they've got a lot of answers to give at the moment. And I think they are coming up with all sorts of statements, cover-ups and all sorts. I mean, when everything was very open to them. And I think we need someone who's going to be resolute in taking the challenge to the Labour Party and really being that opposition and saying, hang on a minute, you promised all sorts during the election. How are you going to deliver that? And we know that they're now setting the groundwork for taxation. And I know Priti is a small state, low taxation Conservative, and I think that's what's going to be one of her key selling points.
And what about those allegations about her behaviour when she was in the department?
Well, look, I mean, first of all, obviously, I came in 2019, but ever since I've known Priti, and this is very consistent among colleagues, by the way, I've only ever known her to be a wonderfully caring individual who works hard, cares about the party. So those allegations certainly weren't consistent with my experience of her. And most colleagues that I speak to have said that as well.
Yeah, but with all due respect, she has twice been caught breaking the ministerial code in government. The first time round, she had to resign under Theresa May because she was running an independent foreign policy close to Israel without any permission when she wasn't the foreign secretary. The second time round, Sir Philip Putnam, the Permanent Secretary of the Home Office, resigned, complaining of bullying. Alex Allen, the watchdog, looked into it, found that she was guilty of bullying, but Boris Johnson, for his own reasons, kept her on. Now, you are seriously saying to the country, are you, that someone who has seriously violated the ministerial code twice is actually fit to be leader of the opposition and subsequently, if you're successful, prime minister?
Well, what I'm saying is, I mean, I think in that report, when you talk about Philip Putnam, I also said that she didn't get the support that she needed to do her job. And I think clearly there was a lot.
Yeah, but she was found against twice on the ministerial code, and you, in different contexts, and you were saying that is the person you think should be the next prime minister.
Well, if I could just finish, and what was very clear on that report was that she didn't get the support that she needed. Frankly, from my perspective, as I said, as having known Priti a long time, and I was speaking to colleagues, and by the way, colleagues across the House, not just in the Conservative Party, it is very clear that she is a valued member of the House. And I think she's going to bring a lot, not just as a leader of the party, leading the opposition and holding the government to account, but I think she's got lots of really good ideas. She can unite the party. And this is important not just because we want to challenge the Labour Party. It's good because I know that socialism...
What about dancing with Nigel Farage at the Conservative conference?
Well, Labour's socialism... I'll come on to that. Well, Labour's socialism would be incredibly damaging to the country, and that's why we need a good, strong Conservative message.